Welcome to the Trading Lounge. I'd love to share with you my strategy going into this week after having one of the hardest weeks I've experienced as a trader. On Monday, I got out of a drawdown that I'd been in since February and then proceeded to go right back into the drawdown over the course of the next few days and had a couple no trade days as well. And we're going to go over a little bit of that today just to kind of work through this. But here is let me do this real quick. Sorry, get off there. Okay, so here is this week basically. So Monday started off pretty hot, $333 on the small account challenge. Trying to take this account to $100,000 as fast as possible as a rookie day trader. I started this back in December and with $1,000 and doubled my money really quickly. Thought I was hot, added some money, lost some money, and like ever since then we've just been kind of figuring out how to navigate this and learn and grow every single day, just get a little bit better. And we're still green on the account, and I'll show you guys that at some point today as well. But that's kind of what's going on here. And so here we are. Start the week off, $333. We're out of the drawdown, as you can kind of see right there, out of our February drawdown. Awesome. And then the next day, I lose $223 right there, max loss day. And so then I followed up with a no trade day, which is not, which I wouldn't say that's typical, but wouldn't be uncommon for me to have a no trade day after a big loss day, right? And then the next day, which I think was Thursday, I went down $179. And then Friday was a no trade day. Now, there are some similarities between this loss and this loss. This win right here, this just followed my normal style of trading that I love to do, which is something in the price range of $1 to like $10. It's Ross Cameron's strategy that he uses for his way of trading, and I'm just applying it to this account. So, we're looking at things that are low float and in a certain price range, and you've got micro pullbacks, and very successful on that day. This day was like a continuation trade that I was trying to leverage right at 4 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time. And turns out, now that I look back, this trade that I also lost on was the same thing at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I haven't put my metrics into anything that tells me like how what are the best times of day for me to trade. But before I started this challenge, I journaled in ChatGPT, and I'd have ChatGPT ask me like 10 questions, and then every week I'd have it spit out the results for the week. And so I knew before starting this challenge where some of my strengths and weaknesses were, and continuation trades are not my strength. And I need something that I feel confident in, something that's got breaking news catalyst, it's got momentum right in the moment, and I'm trying to trade it, as I see some kind of entry point. I'm not great at if something had news the day prior and it's kind of moving through and and it's breaking VWAP and bouncing off 9 EMAs and 20 EMAs, and I'm not great at those things. And so I really need to focus on sticking to what has worked and trying not to branch out. And so after Thursday's loss, I told my wife, I said, hey, when you come home in the mornings after, from the gym, I want you to, the first question to ask me is, did you follow your rules? And Friday, I was able to say yes, but I did not make a trade because there was nothing in the morning that fit my rule set. Actually, that's not true. There was a couple that fit my rule. Let's go over Friday's trades, Friday's missed opportunities real quick. So Friday, there was one stock that was very obvious, and that was ELPW. And let's see here. Yeah, I still have some of my lines marked off on this, which is nice, actually. Looks like they moved a little bit. But anyway, I mean, this is pretty easy to see, I think, that this stock was ripping. So this is 7:15, so 4 just after 7 a.m. East Coast time is kind of when I start. So 4 a.m. my time. I like to just talk in my time. So 4 o'clock in the morning, this thing rips up, but there's no news. I'm watching it. There's just no news. So I don't have a catalyst. And I'm like, I'm not going to break my rules today. I'm not going to do it, right? And then it comes back down, and then it tests VWAP right here, but then it breaks through VWAP with really good volume. The MACD goes positive, and it just shoots right through VWAP, has a nice little pullback, shoots up again, and then proceeds to come back down. And then it just goes right through VWAP again, has a nice little pullback, continues higher. Comes back down, and now it's got quite a bit of support actually. And it's just been kind of, if you're the type of trader that likes dip trading or trading on like a curl, and we've been seeing this kind of thing quite a bit, where a stock will have a high, it kind of curls, doesn't really do anything, curls again, doesn't really do anything, curls again, and then all of a sudden that third or fourth curl will be the curl that comes up to the high, right? And so if you're this type of trader, you could have traded this, you could have made a ton of money on this stock, and I just, because I didn't want to break my rules. I didn't want to break my rules. Now, VWAP trading on stocks with breaking news. So say there was breaking news and this pumped and then it dumped and then it came back up and tested VWAP again. I want to be able to trade those. And it's something I'm really learning. I'm learning how VWAP works, what I'm looking for when something is approaching VWAP specifically. And like when one thing I like about VWAP is it's a measured like metrics, so whatever this number is, I can't tell. So $3.32 in this range, like that's an entry point for me. Like I'm either getting in just before that or I'm getting in over that when there's some support. And like if it doesn't bust through it, I'm immediately getting out of it. Like there's something very specific for me to know when to get in and when to get out. It's just understanding what that looks like for me. And I haven't quite figured it out yet. I've got another account I'm testing it on, my Roth account on Webull, where I'm kind of testing a few of these things off and on until I can get comfortable and bring them into this account. But my losses on this account are really when I'm just breaking my rules. I mean, holding too long, getting in up high, continuation trades at 4 a.m. Like just, we can't be doing those kind of things. So anyway, this was the stock that ripped, and then at the bell, I had all my buying power right here, and at the bell, this thing rips up through VWAP, halts out. I'm sure it halted. I don't remember if it did. I'm guessing that would be a halt at that price. And boy, you just could make quite a bit of money in that little run right there. Wow, just an amazing run that stock made, and I just didn't do it, so a couple of, let's just leave this open. A couple other ones that hit the scanner, WIMI was one. Is this on auto? Let's go here. There we go. And is this right? Yeah, Friday. Huh. I don't remember why I didn't trade this one. Oh, yeah, it was just really choppy. Yeah, I just didn't like this at all, to be honest with you. It was just, there was nothing doing right there, right? And then comes down and just, I just didn't really see anything here that excited me. And then it breaks VWAP here, makes a nice little run, but I don't know, I ended up not trading this. And then another one was KMRK. These are all, by the way, all of these stocks hit my scanner. The scanner that I've been using is at Chartswatcher. Pretty good scanner. If you're from Day Trade Dash, which is the warrior trading platform, this is really, really good in comparison. And in some ways, I even like it a lot better. And it's fully customizable, which I enjoy. And it's been my go-to scanner since I stopped using Day Trade Dash and some of the free scanners as well. The one issue I have with this scanner with Chartswatchers, so they just did a chart update. So here, these charts are actually faster than Day Trade Dash right now. So like if you run them side by side, you'll see the price action move in the chart a little bit faster, just a fraction of a second faster in this software than in Day Trade Dash. I'm not kidding. I have the proof, video proof. You have to go look at my last video to see it. But but there are a few issues, and I think that. But what's great about this company is they're really quick to put out fixes to their bugs. And so, I mean, later in the day, with like the chart froze one day, they fixed that, and like a few other things that they fixed. And so I expect that by middle of this week or end of this week, this thing's going to be just running great. The other thing that was kind of frustrating, that's been frustrating, this is the one thing that I have not enjoyed about this platform, is that the float on some stocks is off by a rather large margin. I understand, look, I understand how float works. I know how it's reported. I get that it can be, the number can be different at different websites. I understand all that. I get that, right? But I mean, I don't think it should be off by billions, right? So you'll have, for example, this one right here. And I'm not trying to like hate on Chartswatchers. I love this platform. I just need this to be fixed. And the great thing is that they did mention that they are looking into it. And I just know because this company's been so great as far as their updates go, I know that that's got to annoy them too. And they're going to do whatever they can to probably fix it over time. But this is the second time this has happened to me in 2 weeks. It might be the second time 1 week. I can't really remember. But SC on Friday, SC and I hit the scanner. Actually, sorry, it did not hit the scanner. But my Discord, not my Discord, the Discord I'm in, was talking about it. And I go to click in it, and I'm like, well, this is, I mean, okay. So I pull it up. I pull it up in the scanner, which is right here. And I see the float's red. So it's like 12 billion float. And it's on the chart right here. We've got 12 billion float. But look at the market cap. Market cap's only like 2.6 million. I'm like, well, I don't think this doesn't really add up to me. And this thing was moving like it was not a high float stock. And so then I asked in the Discord, what is the float you guys are seeing? And they reported their floats, and everything was really low. And I verified everywhere I looked, and everywhere I looked, the response I got was like in the low millions. But on Chartswatcher, we have 12 billion, right? And here's the thing. I'm not like, it's not that big of a deal because there's other stocks for me to trade. But the issue is that this doesn't even get to hit my scanner because it has that high of float. So I didn't even get a chance to trade this. Now, I'm not a big penny stock trader. Would I have traded it? I don't know, but I am opening myself up to trade to lower my price range because I am seeing some penny stocks, they'll just rip. Like this one did this in under a minute. This 1 minute, this candle right here in 1 minute went from 60 cents all the way up to $1.30 in a minute. I mean, some of these are moving. Typically when I'm trading penny stocks, they're kind of grinding and it's annoying. Even after a catalyst, I'm just kind of annoyed. But lately, I've been seeing a couple of them with good news, and they'll make this candle right here. They'll have a little pullback, and they'll have a little pullback here. This candle will open, and it will just fire, right? And I want to be able to have the opportunity to get in on that. And so they are working on it. So for those of you who love Chartswatchers, and I know there's some I've seen some devs watching these videos, and I'm not hating on the platform. I love the platform. I hope to see the float fixed because I don't like missing this opportunity, and I don't think I should like hide that fact. My one hit on the platform, but day trade dash has issues too. There's float mismatch sometimes there on certain things, maybe not. I haven't seen it this big, but or like the news actually comes out a little bit quicker on. I've seen news alerts come a little bit quicker in Chartswatcher than day trade dash, and so it's a give and take. And I think it's still worth it. And I think they're going to nail it. So not super worried about it. But the other one was NT. So the main one that I really felt I missed was, besides ELPW, was this one. And this stock hit the scanner. And where are you? Right here. Yeah. And here's what I was thinking. So I saw this entire move. And we ended up getting this kind of double top right here. So, typically what I like to see is a pullback right here, and then a green candle or a candle opens and it dips down, and then it kind of comes up right here, and I get in like right there. That's kind of, and I don't even know if I would have, but what I ended up seeing was this double top right here, and then this candle forms, and I'm just not really that impressed. I was looking at it, I was looking at the tape, and I'm like, I just don't think this is really going to do much. And the range on this, the low was 71, the high. So this is a 30-cent candle right here. And I just don't think, like, I'm good. Like, I want something that maybe move a little bit faster and for more and more, and then this one opened, and this kind of just confirmed what I was feeling. I'm like, I'm not feeling this, right? And then this candle opens and the volume comes in like crazy, like quadruple volume, and this thing just shoots up like crazy. And this is where I would have loved to get in normally, right at a little over $2, going all the way up to almost 250, over 250, like that. And I just missed it because in my mind I had decided I was not going to trade it because I just didn't like the action I was seeing right here. But the reality is, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what mindset I was in, because this is actually would have been a pretty good trade. I wish I would have traded this. So I've just got to be wary of that going into next week. I need to be making sure that I'm not, if I see something like this where I just wasn't feeling this, I didn't like the range of these, I just didn't like what I was seeing overall, but be prepared in case it pops. Because if it pops right there, that's a good opportunity. You can see it's trending upward. Like, there's a chance for it to pop here. And it did. Absolutely. And anyway, that's just something. This is one of the strategies I like. This pullback strategy right here, where you've got momentum right here, and you've got pullback right here, and then the first candle to make a new high, which is actually this candle right here. You could get in there if you want, but there wasn't really like a ton of, I wasn't feeling it. So this would have been the candle right here, and it just runs up. So I don't know. Those are kind of, that was kind of where I'm at with those. And this, was it C? Oh yeah. LIDR was another one that I saw that, I liked. This one's actually a higher float. But it's been on my radar. It's one that I'm familiar with, and it took off right before the bell right there. And then after the bell, so this line represents when trading starts. So this side is after the bell, this side is pre-market, and it just proceeded to move up with a couple of nice little pullbacks and a good chance to get in there. But it didn't fit my rule set being at 43 million float. I'd like to be under 20 million float, and so and the other one was EVNB. Are you gonna pull up for me? Oh wait, ENVB, yeah. And I really was close on this one. So I ended up deciding not to trade this. I don't remember if there was a news catalyst. I'm looking now to see if there was on the 25th, right? What was the date here? 26th. Yeah, I don't see a news catalyst on this. Maybe there is one, but so let's see. Yeah. So there's nothing really doing here, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this thing starts gapping up like crazy. And I'm watching it gap up. And it's low float. There's no news catalyst. But, so I didn't trade it. I wanted to. I really wanted to. I had an opportunity to get in right after this halt right here. So in this range where it gapped up, I saw that gap up, saw this move up. Was watching kind of like where I would enter, and it just didn't go for me. I just decided not to enter, and there was no news catalyst, and I didn't want to break my rules. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I want to be able to trade. So I have my micro pullback strategy that I love, that I learned learned from Ross Cameron, but I want to be able to trade halts and break of VWAPs. Those are two things I want to add. I'm just not sure if I want to add them to this account yet, because we got to make sure I got to make sure I'm not entering in on stocks I shouldn't be entering in on. Before I expand. That's kind of how I'm thinking anyway. We'll see how it goes next week. But so the next week, I think that I just kind of have to dial this back and come up with a strategy that, again, where the wife comes in and she's like, "Hey, did you follow your rules today?" And I'm like, yes or no, and my goal next week is to say yes every single time that she comes in. And so here is kind of the rules that this won't surprise anyone. This is like basically just some of the stuff off of we're trading. And it's a little bit different just because of my own kind of stuff, but it's really not that different. We're looking for stocks that have low float right here. So that's the shares that are available to be traded to the public. I like anything. I'll trade anything under 20 million, but I really like under 10 million, under 5 million, even under $1 million. Lower the better. That's just how I feel about it. I need some breaking news. So some kind of catalyst that's pushing up the stock. It doesn't even have to be great news, just breaking news. And, I can just look and see how the market is responding to the news to determine if I'm going to get in on it. So usually if it's not great news, not usually, but a lot of times it's not great news, it's not going to hold up well, or like you just see a different price action, and that's fine. And then we've got the kind of this initial breakout with volume, which is the stock that I just showed you with most of the stocks we looked at today, especially NTIP. It's just got this initial burst of price action with a nice little pullback, and then the first candle to make a new high. And so that's kind of like It's like what I'm looking at. And then $1 to $6 unless it's really clear. Anything over $6, I just have a hard time managing my risk. And I want to shift. I want to be able to trade things all the way up to $10, but it just hasn't clicked for me yet. And so I get kind of nervous trading anything over $6, and that's okay, right? So $1 to $6, I would be okay with trading under $1. I'd be okay trading over $6 as long as all of the other things are met. And it's really clear. Like, it's clear that there are people's eyes on this stock. It's clear that this thing is moving. And then if I take a loss, I take a loss on that. But I typically want to try to stay within that price range. And then my entry is the first candle to make a new high after a pullback. And the stock that I showed, NTIP, was a good example. Not my favorite example because it's not what I've been seeing. And was that NTIP? It's not really what I've been like seeing lately that I've been getting into, but it is still a pretty good example. Like, you've got this initial momentum, a red candle pullback, another candle, and you've got this candle that breaks this high. Technically, this one did if you wanted to get in there, and then I get in right there as this candle passes over that price point, and that's just basically rinse and repeat. To be honest with you guys, and I think I can even show it on ELP. I mean, SCNI did a really good version of it, right? So right here, yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking for. If it's not like a red candle pullback, there is a red candle pullback, but it's just a micro pullback on a 10-second chart. You don't see it here, but if I was to switch this to a 10-second chart, you would see it. It gets breaking news or whatever. It pumps up. It has this tiny little pullback right there. It opens right here. It has this little pullback right here. And so there is kind of your pullback right in there. Again, you don't see it on this chart. It's not red, but that's physically what these bars are representing. This thing opens. It goes above here. As soon as it goes above that line, I enter. That's my strategy. If I'm not doing these things we just described here today, if I record a video next week and I put it out, and to win or lose, and I didn't follow those strategies, there's a couple other ones too. Like, if something's got blue sky, like I might do something like that. But for the most part, we're not going to be trying to do a continuation trade at 4 a.m. right? Because that's proven two big losses this week on that decision. It needs to have current breaking news. It needs to be within my price range. I've got to do a micro pullback strategy on a 1 minute candle to make a new high. And we got to cut our losses fast. And that's like another thing I'm looking at for this week is, if I'm wrong, boy, like I need to get out right away, and just live another day. So that's kind of where I'm at this week. Those are the stocks I traded. I don't know how this is going to come through on your guys' side, but hopefully I got across the strategy that I'm going to be using next week. And as far as kind of holding myself accountable, we were down $70 last week after having, a $330 Monday, and the two big losses I had were stocks I traded at the exact same time, right at 4 a.m. when the market starts to get a little bit of volume, two continuation trades, and it just is not in the wheelhouse, for me. I do have a couple of notes right here. I'm just going to review them real quick to make sure I didn't miss anything. One of them was, how to train getting out. So yeah, before I started this account, I would train myself getting out in and out of moves really, really fast as possible. And I would actually enter trades with the intent of getting out right away. So, like I would enter a pullback, and I would just get out of it right away, or intentionally trade a losing trade. So some red candles that are kind of losing, and then I'd get in and then let it drop a couple cents and get out. So it's kind of training my mind to see resistance of some kind and just getting out, practicing getting out, right? And that actually worked pretty well for quite some time, but those it's starting to creep back in to where I'm not getting out as fast as I should. I'm holding too long, and I'm not going to go back to trading that style of kind of learning how to get out fast, because I don't really know how well it worked. If you get in and you just get out fast because you're training yourself to get out fast, there's not really an emotional side that's connected to that. So I just really need to work on as soon as I enter in, if the stock doesn't do exactly what I thought it was going to do. And VWAP's a really good example. That's kind of why I like VWAP. It's like, if you went in for the break of VWAP and that thing did not break, you just get out. And it might come down one candle, come over, and then break the next time, and you just get right back in. I mean, you can't on a cash account always, but you know what I mean. So be thinking about that. I did talk about the low flow issue on the chart. I did talk about VWAPs and halts as something that I want to add to my arsenal. And then it says mention the guys. I don't know what that means, but I think it has to do with a couple of the guys in my Discord, but I forgot what that reference because I didn't write it down. But anyway, I hope you guys, let me show you the data real quick for anyone who's new here. Started this back in December, trying to reach $100,000. Right now we are up $1,381. We participated in 67 trade days with a win rate of 67%. That win rate was up at 90% in December, but the market was so hot, I just didn't really realize that at the time. So I'm happy right here. I would prefer it to be above 70, but 107 winners. And if you're glancing at the chart, you can see that thing ripped up all the way up pretty high until early February. Massive drawdown, and I've been working my way out of that drawdown only to slip right back into it this week after just getting out of it. So stick to the rules, stick to the rules, stick to the rules. That is the name of the game for this week. We'll see how I do. I hope you guys were green last week and that you had a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will see you tomorrow.